Hello, this is Dr. Do again. This video is alphabetic list of problems. Still on letter R. Today I'm going to talk about a retina disease. I think I have mentioned about retina disease or retina in previous video, or like the ocular diseases or eye conditions under the letter E or O. But I did not have a whole video dedicated to the retina, since it is so important and it's quite common, particularly for those who have systemic diseases. So I'm just going to use this time to talk about the retina diseases and also the structure, unique part of retina structure. First of all, let me just bring up the emergency situation associated with the retina diseases. Of course, the injury, either penetrating or mechanical blunt injury, can cause this retina damage, and also systemic disease, severe long-time diabetes or hypertension, cause the ischemic or neovascularization, which means new blood vessel growing, and hemorrhage or detachment, causing detachment, or long-term advanced degree of age-related macular degeneracy also can have this emergency detachment of this retina. So these are the emergency situation. The signs you're looking for is the blurred vision. You know you had the previous existing disease and suddenly developed blurred vision with or without pain. And then sometimes like a curtain fell off. So if that's the case, go to the emergency. Regardless whether the cause by retina or anything else, you feel like the vision is changing, suddenly blurred, and also eye pain or hemorrhage, whatever, anything, that's the emergency. You need to see your ophthalmologist or emergency department. So that is about the emergency situation. Can you manage any retina disease at home? Probably not. You probably did it, but it was just undiagnosed. Was not called to manage at home. You just ignored them. Some of the retina condition, like the fluid, subretinal minor fluid, can absorb and with transient impaired vision, and then just went away. But a lot of time need to really under supervision, diagnosed by a physician, ophthalmologist, or any other doctors, and then even though the treatment is observed, monitor or supportive, but still need to be documented for the future reference may occur. So then if that's the case, regardless you have changed vision acuity, see a physician, even though nothing can be done, but still you feel safe, and also the physician has record of your ocular condition. So basically you cannot manage at home if a diagnosed retinal condition. Has to be regularly follow up with your specialist and to manage. So let me talk about the structure of retina. The retina is like a film of the camera. That's where the image to form. And the retina has different kind of cells and different layers. And some of the cells in the retina, to identify the color, the light or the dark, they serve as ganglion cells, which means form the synapse with like the neuron. It's synapse between the nerve cells and to pass the signal. So these kind of structure lining along with the retina, it's very thin, very small, and at the center there's a small structure for the fovea that's responsible for the sharp visions, high density of cone cells and the rod cells. Those are the really the photoreceptor is called, because they can follow the synapse with the other neurons without any dendrite, just the cell itself, like the neuron. So this is probably the medical term. In another word, retina contains the nerve cells direct to see the outside of the world. That's probably the non-medical term, but still it's hard to understand unless you see. But I hope if you're interested, you can search retina structure. You definitely can find detailed explanation anyway. So this is about the structure of retina. Retina, anteriorly, there's a matrix, a ball of squishy structure holds it there to hold the retina, to hold the eye as a global structure. And beneath the retina are the choroid, richer blood vessels and also the melanin, the colored, dark colored pigment to shape the structure behind it. So this is about, and then on top of outside of that is the sclera, which is really the hard fibro-like structure to protect. So this is basically about the retina, and the retina fill of blood vessels, arteries, and also the veins. And talk about retinal diseases. The quite common of retinopathy are the systemic diseases like diabetic or hypertension cause the retinopathy. This basically the consequence is the same, but the mechanism are different. The ischemic, for example, and eventually because the long-term ischemic cause the body responds as retina need more blood supply, so grow a lot of new blood vessels. However, those new called neovascularization, those new grown blood vessels, not as normal blood vessels, lack of the structure to support, so fragile and intend to bleeding. So that's why a lot of advanced retinopathy, either caused by diabetes or hypertension, have this kind of bleeding along this retina structure. So anyway, and also the other retinopathy or retina disease that occur could be a young people has been healthy or adult has been healthy, just for some reason cause this serous fluid penetrating through the blood vessels and underneath of the retina. So pretty much asymptomatic, unless exception of this blurred vision, just a few blurred without any change. So if that's the case, then you need to check with your doctors to make sure there's nothing going on. Even in terms of the cause of this serious edema or edema, that's the classic term, onto the retina, really a lot of time is idiopathic, which means unknown reason. Could be the viral infection, could be the autoimmune reaction, but nobody knows. But if that's the case, sometimes can be treated with the laser to, like a staple, just with the heat to stay them together. Sometimes just the watch, observe. The worst scenario for retinal disease is the detachment. In terms of the extension of how severe the detachment depends on the time, the area, and the location. The sooner the better to see your physician. If it's early, if it's a minimum area, can use the surgical procedure called buckling, which means really use a gauge to really press it back down, sew it back to the eyes to keep it attached to the underneath structure and to heal. But if the area is so big or if the fluid is too much under retina, there's no way you can treat it. It's just, I think it's just, so the time is really critical. The sooner the better. And also for those who had previous pre-existing systemic conditions, comorbidities like hypertension, diabetes, follow up with your eye doctor regularly, treat early, so that prevent the eventual detachment. If the retina detachment, the consequences really cannot see anything, just like the camera without film. So this is about the retina. The take-home message is, first of all, if you're interested, search the retina structure and the physiology and the diseases. And secondly, for those who had diabetes, hypertension, or any other systemic diseases, follow up with your doctor to make sure to monitor the progress, to slow down the progress, and also to make a better prognosis. So I'm going to stop here today, and thank you for watching. I will see you next time.